cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Back with another video from the Scap Attack Vault. As you guys know, over the last week and a half-ish, 2 week-ish, I've been checking out these videos that Scap Attack, the YouTube channel, has been putting out. Like I said, go check out Scap Attack, subscribe to that channel. Great content there. And I love the truth involved in it. I love the humor. I love the editing. It's all great content, to say the least. And I guess Scap Attack came across one of our reaction videos, or got wind of it, and dropped me a comment. So I appreciate that, Scap Attack. Scap Attack says, LOL, thanks for the spotlight and the react video. I appreciate it. Emoji. Also, while not as funny as my LeBron docs, if you're a Kobe guy, I am. This, in my opinion, is the best video I've ever made. Thought you might enjoy it. And then he dropped the link. Appreciate that, Scap Attack. This video, The Last Alpha, the Kobe Bryant Documentary Event, there is going to be, I haven't watched it, but what I know, because this is what Scap Attack does, drops knowledge, drops insight, drops context, puts everything into its proper perspective so that you can see it in the truth, in the light. I know it's going to be the appropriate amount of context for some Kobe Bryant points he's going to make. I know this. I know this. Anyway, appreciate the support and the dropping the dime and the connection there, Scap Attack, for this video. And we'll check it out now. Let's get into it.
There is an element of sports that has often been talked about, alluded to, and at times dismissed. It's something you can't really quantify or measure, something that won't show up in advanced analytics. You won't find it in a box score, but you can sense it, feel it. It is undeniable, inevitable. It's the look in a player's eyes, the desire, their will to dominate against all odds, to accept every challenge without taking the easy way out. Something that has driven and defined all of the great players throughout history until this most recent era. And as with most things in life, tragically, you don't know something is gone until you lose it. Could it be that when Kobe Bryant dropped the mic on April 13th, 2016,
what can I say? Mamba out.
We saw the final player in the lineage of a long line of a now dying breed, the last alpha. Gone are the days of players taking it as a personal responsibility to win with less or what they have, to play hurt, to try to will a team, carry them to the end destination. Somewhere along the way, that all ended. Likely when a soft-ass loser, incapable of winning anything on his own, raised up out of the ground during a pyrotechnic show to declare he was going to win 8 championships, who met adversity by running away and joining other all-time greats. And as we know, basketball is a copycat league. Contrast that with the way Jordan met adversity of seemingly insurmountable opponents in the 1980s. A steady diet of work harder, get stronger, and be better. And it would be amid swirling allegations by the media and even Shaquille O'Neal himself that Kobe Bryant decided to take action and force Shaq out of town to prove he could win without him. Kobe accepted a full-blown rebuild mid-career in his absolute prime, something no other elite all-time player in NBA history went through. Kobe's absolute peak, wasted, playing alongside players such as Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, but it was something he felt he had to do to earn the respect that others are for some reason just given these days. And with a career one-time All-Star at that point, who had made 0 All-NBA team selections in his first 7 years, Bryant produced arguably the greatest playoff run in NBA history, going to 3 consecutive finals, facing 11 50-plus win opponents over the run, and winning back-to-back championships. Along the way in his career, Bryant led the slowest paced, lowest scoring, and most challenging defensive era in NBA history in points scored and scoring average. Yet his legacy is routinely diminished with pathetic claims by advanced analytics losers that he was a ball hog and inefficient, using some silly made-up acronyms like VORP, PER, and BPM to prop up a fake case of dominance for others. But Kobe didn't care about scoring or individual accolades, just winning. And in year 17, he paid the ultimate price. In that 2013 NBA season, Kobe posted a similar line as a then 28-year-old LeBron James, who won the league MVP that year, with per-game averages of 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And in his 17th season that year, Kobe actually played more games than LeBron, while averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Who knew how many more good years Bryant had left in the NBA playing at these levels? But amid a season of turmoil and injuries, where Pau Gasol would decline substantially while starting only 42 games, and 38-year-old starting point guard Steve Nash also missed over 30 games, Kobe took on the added responsibility to drag the Lakers into the playoffs. There would be no excuses, no load management. Down the stretch, in the final 7 games of his season, Bryant averaged 29 points per game, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds per game, while playing 46 minutes a night, with the Lakers going 6-1 during that stretch and from out of the playoffs to into the 7th seed. But on April 12th, 2013, the accumulated wear and tear on Bryant's body, coupled with the mounting minutes, would take its toll, and Kobe ruptured his Achilles, essentially ending his career, as he would suffer season-ending injuries early in the next 2 years as well. But Bryant didn't need to be carried off the court. He didn't get wheeled off. Kobe stepped to the free throw line and calmly knocked down 2 free throws in a game his team was trailing by 2 in late. And then he walked off, because that's what an alpha would do. Loss and failure are viewed differently through today's lens. Show me how someone fails most typically, and I can show you how they succeed. The greatest players in previous eras were willing to do whatever was necessary to win, at any cost. How many of those guys are around in the modern era of the NBA? Today, we often hear about talent, athleticism, how absurd the physical gifts of players now are compared to players in past generations. While this premise of alpha dog or the killer mentality is routinely dismissed as fanboy speculation or nostalgia for their favorite players of their generations. But it isn't. While it is not quantifiable or measurable, it is tangible. And if you've experienced it, chances are you're not hating on today's players or this era. You're simply lamenting the loss of something that was so epic in scope and inspiring that simply isn't around anymore, and sadly, is likely never coming back. But this just ultimately serves as yet another poignant reminder to enjoy it while you can, because in the blink of an eye, it could all be gone, just like that.
Mamba out.
Epic, 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 epic. All truth, all facts, no lies. Another masterpiece by none other than Scap Attack. Listen, I'm glad he brought up Kobe Bryant's playoff run. That Western Conference was a gauntlet to get through. Make no mistake about it. Those teams were tough, both in his three-peat with Shaquille O'Neal and his back-to-back 3 straight trips to the finals run with Pau Gasol. Those were some tough teams. Hell, in his run to the 2008 finals where they lost, he had to face the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, who were the defending champions at that time. Dusted them 4-2. Like these teams, these gauntlet teams during either one of those times, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Sacramento Kings, the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, these are teams who were facing the second and third round, let alone the finals. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant has more 50-plus Kobe Bryant has more victories against 50-plus win playoff teams, more than anybody in NBA history. Kobe Bryant holds that record. But he never gets credit for that. To make it to the finals as many times as he did, going through that gauntlet, is absolutely incredible. Meanwhile, LeBron James gets all the credit in the world for all those straight final appearances he made, despite the fact that he had a super team with 3 players, including himself, more or less in their prime, and a very watered-down, weak Eastern Conference, to include that Cavaliers team too, his second stint with the Cavaliers. Watered-down, weak Eastern Conference, feasting on teams that are low 50 wins or, hovering around 500 or under 500. Feasting on these guys on the road to the finals. That's why I'm not impressed by his final streak, because I know how weak that Eastern Conference was and the type of team LeBron James had with him. So I'm not impressed. So the big thing, I was like, well, wait till this guy gets to the Western Conference. I want you to walk in Kobe's shoes. See how hard it is to get to finals. He's only been there once. Where's that final streak? I rest my case. But anyway, it's not about LeBron. I have to throw that in there. Anywho, the Mamba had a much better career than people like to give him credit for. And Skapatak is also absolutely right. Year 17 version of Kobe Bryant. See, people forget. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James wasn't the first person performing at that high of a level at year 17. Like, Kobe Bryant was beasting that season. And he's absolutely right. Pau Gasol was hurt in and out. Steve Nash was hurt in and out. Dwight Howard even was too. And Kobe and Dwight was beefing because Kobe was like, dude, we're trying to make the playoffs here. What is your prerogative? What are your goals? We need you. Get your ass out on the court. That was a whole controversy going on. Come on, man. Kobe Bryant willed that team into the playoffs. Sacrificed his body in doing so. I remember it clearly. Were we not calling him Vino? V-I-N-O. Aging like fine wine. He was getting called Vino because of how incredible he was playing with all the miles in that late in his career. People were also calling him Kobe Nash because he started playing point guard and excelling at it. Not that I didn't think he would, but for, some casuals, they found it, they were a bit flabbergasted by it. Come on, man. There were times Mike D'Antoni had him guarding small, quick, young point guards to shut him down for entire games, and he did do that. He did whatever the team needed that season. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be going into the new year, which would be the calendar year of 2013. The Lakers were outside of the top 8 teams in the Western Conference. I think they were outside the playoff bubble, if I'm not mistaken. If they were, they were at the bottom then. But he turned up, like Skapatak showed you. He turned up all the way and dragged that team into the playoffs. Sacrificed his body in doing so. Tore his Achilles. Walked back out on the floor knowing his Achilles was torn. Sank 2 big free throws to help the Lakers secure that game. It was a big reason why they went into the playoffs. But he wasn't there. Also quiet as it's kept, the Lakers were one of the better teams. Had one of the better records the second half of that season. On Kobe Bryant's sheer brilliance alone. Game winners, dunks, you name it. He was doing everything. And like Skapatak said, and like somebody else on this channel said in a Kobe/Jordan video I just put out, and they're both absolutely right. Kobe Bryant, really, the last 3 years of his career, he was a shell of himself. He wasn't the same Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, as we know him, ended right there with that tore Achilles. Now, he had moments of brilliance, of young Kobe, of vintage Kobe at times, in the games he played, especially in year 16, but he couldn't keep it up consistently. His body failed him. Broke his knee, broke his shoulder, and then in year 20, he gave it all. He gave it all. Whatever he had left, he gave it to him. And yeah, he had to take some home games off just so that his body was good to play on the road game, because he wanted to give people that were outside of LA a chance to see him play. Kobe really is, especially at that level, at that elite of a player, he is the last alpha. He was the last alpha. Didn't care about anything but winning. Playing through all kinds of injuries. That's another thing people don't mention, is this guy, Kobe, played through so many injuries where people would sit out for months. Lacerated fingers, broken fingers, mangled fingers, freaking ankles this big, swollen. All kinds of injuries. On his shooting hand. That's the other thing. People want to talk about. I'm not even going to get into the inefficient thing because they don't understand the era Kobe played in. His numbers, his shooting percentages weren't deemed inefficient. In fact, he was above league average many years. People don't bring that up. Especially during that era, the low scoring era where it's hard to score. The only people shooting 50+% from the field were like power forwards and centers, really. Come on, man. Anyway, on his shooting hand, all messed up. He had to change his form. He had to change the way he shoots, playing through these injuries, and was still giving it to you at a 45 to 50% clip any night because he wouldn't sit out. Come on, man. Can we tell the truth? Thank you, Scap Attack. Thank you. That's the other thing. Kobe never cared about numbers. His numbers were a product of the way he played naturally. He wasn't sitting here looking at box scores at the end of a quarter or halftime or anything like that. He didn't need to see that. It's all about the game, the rhythm of the game, the rhythm of the team. Making adjustments. He didn't need to see box scores. He didn't care about numbers. In fact, in an interview with, I think it was an interview with Matt Barnes and, what's his name? Stacks. He basically said, Kobe was like, shit, if I knew that there would come a day where all people looked at were analytics and numbers and looked at him at face value, he's like, shit, I would have really tried to get my numbers up. If I knew that's how people were going to evaluate players in the future, he's like, shit, I would have had to turn up a little more then if I knew that's how it was going to be. But he didn't care. And back then, nobody cared about numbers like that. They didn't. That didn't start becoming a thing until these LeBron James narratives started popping up. That's when people really started paying attention to numbers and caring about them. Am I making this up? I'm not. And I also like that point he brought up about in the middle of his prime, Kobe's like, you know what? I got to go do it my way. Because at the end of the day, and though he doesn't feel the need to validate himself through other people, he knew what the narratives were going to be if he didn't go out and win a championship without Shaq. And please believe me, Kobe Bryant wanted more than anything. He wasn't reluctant to do it. He was more than anything wanted to be the leader. Even while Shaq was playing, there was a power struggle there. Come on, man. He always wanted to prove what he can do, how he can lead a team on his own. And in the middle of his prime, he went through a rebuilding process to prove that. And he sure as hell proved it. And all he needed was a Pau Gasol and some good role players behind him. Come on, man. He wasn't asking for 2 superstars, 2 all-stars, another top 5 player. He wasn't asking for all that because he knew the player he was. He knew his role players. He said, just give me something good and serviceable. 1 all-star or all-star caliber, whether they get voted in the all-star game or not. Just give me 1. Pau Gasol, bet he's perfect for the triangle offense. Let's go get this championship. Boy, I remember that Achilles game like it was yesterday, man. The Lakers, they were getting beat in that game against the Golden State Warriors. And even as the game started winding down in that fourth quarter, it looked like it was slipping away, and they willed themselves back in it. And I remember watching, and even in that game, he had got hurt twice in that game before he tore his Achilles. He had went to the floor hurt twice before his Achilles tear. Went into the locker room, came back out. And then ultimately, the Achilles put him out for good. But I remember it, man. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. It hurt. It hurt to see it. It hurt to see it. But man, the man's ability to push through pain is unlike anything we've seen before, with the exception of a handful of players in the history of the NBA. Only a handful. You could probably count on one hand the players that had Kobe Bryant's ability to play through pain, a high level pain threshold. You can count on one hand. I know who they are, but I'm not going to mention them in this video. Anywho, that's all I got to say about it. I can't talk. That's what I got to say about it. Y'all let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Please share your opinions, your thoughts. I would love to hear it. Scap Attack, once again, appreciate you stepping through and appreciate the recommendation to what you think is your best work. And I definitely won't disagree with you. This was a beautiful gem that you have provided for the world to see. And again, thank you for the nod, and thank you for putting out this great content. Your content is A1. That's why I keep coming back to it. And y'all go check out Scap Attack. Like, comment, subscribe to Scap Attack's channel. Like I said, man, it's good stuff there. Go check it out for yourself. It's fire. It's fire. Appreciate you for stepping through and blessing us out here, Scap. Anyway, folks, y'all take care. Be blessed. Go check out our other playlists: Kobe, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, you name it. Got them all. Got them all. And I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.